Hi Capricorn, welcome to your March 2020 love reading. It's Rena here, recovering from the flu, and so that's why my voice might sound a little nasally today. This is the, oh, that's beautiful. This is the Ethereal Visions tarot deck. In case you were interested, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody else use this deck. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I got one of those cards. It's funny because there's like a couple of extra cards in this deck compared to the Rider-Waite deck. And I got one of those cards, so I'm like, oh boy. Okay, but it's self-explanatory. The heart of the matter is the Queen of Cups, and actually the artist, which is the extra, one of the two extra cards, is a card that's associated with creativity, and so is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a card that is associated with creativity, intuitive gifts. Let me see what she's doing here. She's holding the cup. She's got like a, it's water, it's double water, it's Cancer. It's associated with Cancer, I believe. Which is your opposite sign. And so there's a psychic feel to it. It's also motherly type of energy. So let me look at the past position to get a better feel for this. Okay, well, the past position is the Seven of Pentacles, and this is the Farmer's card. You can see him. He's got his hoe. He's got his hoe. So the Seven of Pentacles is like assessing progress after you have invested your energy into something. And so, for instance, if were doing a general reading, we would say, oh, well, maybe it's like you've started your own business and you're just seeing if it's going to take off or if it's going to be a viable proposition or something like that. And in talking about, a love matter, it's still the same thing. It's like, I'm investing time in this. Does this really have a sense of going anywhere? You know what I mean? And as the central theme with the Queen of Cups, this can be, in some cases, obviously not all cases, that desire to be a mother, that desire to have that type of family life or something like that. If you are at a different stage of life, or if you don't want children, I mean, it can simply be this idea to have a love. Maybe you get along with somebody and you think that they're a good person. Everything is okay on that level, but it just isn't clicking ultimately, because you have to have the whole thing going on. Now, as the higher message, I did get the Artist card. Now, I don't have the little booklet that came along with it, or I misplaced it, I should say. And, as I recall, it's self-explanatory with the creative influence. One thing that it would be saying is that if you're the kind of person yourself who's like this, and it's funny because I was saying, well, I think that's going to be a stretch, but you know what? There are Capricorn artists. There are people that are Capricorns who have an intuitive nature. You may have a business that's connected to the intuitive arts, or you work for a healing business, or you are an artist, or you're a graphic designer, whatever. And as somebody who is creative myself, I can vouch for the fact that being with somebody like this, to me, is almost crucial, simply because of the type of people that we are. Now, it's not going to be 100%, but I really feel like we have a certain type of outlook and personality that doesn't lend itself well to everybody. So if you are in that boat and either you're involved with somebody and they're not doing it for you, or if you're single and you are looking for a certain type of person, perhaps you have in the past, devoted a lot of time to one type of person and it never worked out. So it's really important, if you find yourself at a certain stage of life and you haven't yet had a relationship that has lasted, that you assess, what kind of, do you tend to be interested in the same type of person, and you might have to kind of do something that feels counterintuitive to you. And for sure, for a Capricorn person, picking somebody who is creative or artistic may seem very counterintuitive. You may, and I can understand, you may feel the sense of wanting somebody to kind of be a complement to you and be more of the kind of the stable one. But you're stable. Don't ever think that you're not stable. It's just that you see the world in a different way. What crosses you is the Knight of Wands, and this can be actually this is connected to Sagittarius. So if there's a wayward Sagittarian in your life, now you know why. This is like a card. The Knight of Wands can be somebody who is very chaotic. And that's the interesting thing as well. Perhaps this is explaining part of the problem. Maybe you have a tendency to pick somebody that's the other extreme, that is very non-committal, is afraid of commitment, that is very untamed, very wild. You tend to be attracted. Sometimes, they say opposites attract. But the Aries, I always associate this with Aries, and I just did Aries reading, and I was thinking that there was a Capricorn person there. So maybe there's some cross things going on there, cross synchronicities. But that does tend to happen as well, is that a person is attracted to somebody completely unlike them and then wonders why the relationship doesn't work. I do think that there has to be some kind of a balance between a completely rebellious and afraid of commitment type of person and somebody who is also a visionary, also somebody who's intuitive and creative. You don't have to just stick with an accountant for it to be like a good type of relationship. What's coming in is represented by the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It's interesting because this card is connected to Jupiter, and Jupiter is in your sign of Capricorn, but also, I was talking about that being Sagittarius. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so I wonder if there is some Capricorns dealing with a Sagittarian. This can be about lack of alignment, and so this can be an advice card too. So if you're single, it's kind of piggybacking on what I just said, and that is to look at where you've been and how that has not worked out for you, and what you can do to align yourself with somebody who is more suitable for you. And it may seem like a bit strange because you may feel that relationships are random, and it's just like, well, how can I, what good is that going to do? All I can hope for is that I'm going to meet a person that I like, and so on and so forth. No, I'm actually suggesting that you, by doing what I say, that you're summoning the forces of the universe, kind of like a magician, and saying, I see now. So you can, you're trying to gain that clarity of vision, and being able to understand who is right for you, so that you can attract such a person into your life. This is the point of doing these kinds of things, is that you're not just going through life thinking that life is happening to you, but you are actively I said actively, but constantly kind of searching your soul for, how you're playing a part in this. It's not about, blaming oneself. It's simply about self-inquiry so that you can get what you want out of life. And it's interesting because I'm speaking about this, wanting people to really feel like they have some say into the kind of things that occur in their lives. And that's why I don't call myself a fortune teller, because I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen. I'm asking you to look at some of these cards. Do they seem like they resonate with your life, the themes? And if so, what can they teach you so that you can empower yourself to attract what you want and not attract what you don't want? The outcome is the Eight of Pentacles, and this is a card that's very practical. It's very kind of bent on improving one's skill set. Also, just in general, work, doing a good job, attaining material wealth. And so this can have different meanings. For some people, this means that you're going to treat your desire for a relationship, the right relationship for you. Forget about soulmates and things like that, although I do have an ebook called Manifest Your Soulmate, if you're interested in that. But A Guide to High Vibe Love is the subtitle. But even forget about this idea, and I'm saying forget about the idea of it, because then people get into this thing of like, oh, it has to be this, once in a lifetime thing. Just think of it in terms of wanting more out of your life, and how do I go about doing it? And I would even say with the Eight of Pentacles, part of it is working on yourself. And that means that I'm not suggesting that you just become completely self-absorbed. I'm talking about becoming self-aware and, things that you need to change. People don't like that because sometimes it makes them feel like they're doing something wrong. And I just want to reassure people that that is totally not what I'm talking about. It's not about doing things that are wrong, although the outcome can be other than what you're desiring. It's that you might be misguided because of what you have believed about love and believed about yourself. So, you're doing what comes natural because of past conditioning. So we can't really call it wrong. It's just not effective. And the other interpretation of this card, and so this is about becoming more effective, but also about like literal doing a good job in your work and stuff. So maybe you are immersing yourself in something that has that tangible result, which is represented by the pentacles. And you, of course, you're Earth, so you also symbolize the pentacles. The point is that because we can't control everything that happens in life, in the meantime, if we're doing constructive things, we're still putting out a good vibe, and we're going to get back something positive. I'm convinced of it. I don't think it's possible not to. So, in any case, Capricorn, that's what I have for you. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.